Alright. Was Hero Tellers back with the retro reviews. Happy Halloween to everyone watching this video on the secondary channel with, ironically, a Halloween Havoc. And it's the 1999 edition of Halloween Havoc. It was significantly better than the 91 edition I watched because at least this time in WCW I remember much, but this is where Vince Russo took over because, you know, he left WWE sometime after Unforgiven and also things in WCW got more insane. More on that when I talk about Starrcade in December, that is. I review most of the 99 stuff in WCW. I mean, Sold Out, Super Brawl, Spring Stampede, Slamboree, Bash at the Beach, Road Wild, Fall Brawl, and this. Again, I'm not doing like a year review thing anymore because that shit has been retired for like a year ago. But, oh boy. So his first pay-per-view under this is Halloween Havoc. And people said the show sucks. For them, at least. To me, it was better than Fall Brawl. That's all I have to say. It was way better than Fall Brawl. But WCW around the time was a disaster. They changed their logos from this to this. You can see up there. That was my birthday theme for this year anyways. Well, let's talk about Halloween Havoc 99. October 24th, last week was the 25th anniversary of this, so there's that. At the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Wikipedia finally fixed the fucking city date that this is marketed reasons. Thank God for that one. But anyways. Let's talk about the pay-per-view itself. It's a mixed bag, but it's not the worst WCW pay-per-view I've seen. I've seen worse. You know, most from 2000, like Great American Bash, 2000, New Blood Rising 2000, which, oh Jesus Christ, don't remind me. But let's talk about it. And get used to that cool set from the 98 edition to this, because there will be no more cool custom themed pay-per-view entrance stages anymore. Which that sucks, because WCW had a lot of cool pay-per-view entrance stages. The Halloween Havoc one, the Starrcade from like 97, 98. You know, that Starrcade 98 was sucked ass. You know, Spring Stampede, just to name a few. We started with the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, where the Cruiserweight Championship, by the way, was on Lane the last time we talked about a WCW pay-per-view around this time. For some fucking reason, they took the belt off of Lane because of the controversy with the West Hollywood Blondes, and they gave the belt to Psychosis just to drop it to Disco Inferno. So Disco Inferno is the champion going into it. He defeats Lash LaRue to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. Fuck Disco Inferno, that's all I have to fucking say about it. He's a fucking joke. This match was okay, but this was around the time the Cruiserweights were not in a good place. And honestly, they should have just pulled the plug on the Cruiserweight division. Because by the time 2000 comes around, don't even remind me. But more of that when I talk about Sold Out in January. 5 out of 10, I'll give it. And Lash LaRue was a bad loser and attacks Disco, so that's what you get, Disco. Fuck you. Anyways, next match is a street fight with Falls Count Anywhere for the vacated WCW World Tag Team Championships. Because the champions were Harlem Heat, won it as Fall... I almost said Super Brawl. No, it's Fall Brawl. But they dropped them the night before this on Nitro to Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. But Rey Mysterio got injured around this time. Just before this. And the belts were vacated, which... Just one red flag. Why couldn't they have Conan defend for Kidman under the Freebird rule? But that's always a bug me out with this. But anyways, Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray defeats Billy Kidman and Conan and the first family of Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris. It was 5 fucking minutes. Really? This should have been more. But, and they dropped Harlem Heat dropped the belts the next night to the Filthy Animals, which, why couldn't they let the Filthy Animals win here? Fucking stupid. I'm just... These fucking WCW title changes don't make fucking sense most of the time. I'll give it a 4 out of 10, because this should have been better, but... Anyways... Eddie Guerrero defeats Perry Saturn by disqualification. This was the beginning of the Revolution versus the Filthy Animals thing, because Revolution were starting to turn heel. Well, not all the members, because only one member is going to be leaving out of this group. We'll talk about that in the next... Oh, wait, no, that's not the next match. Never mind. So, and also, Torrie Wilson left David Flair for Billy Kidman, which is a better improvement. Regardless. Also, Eddie Guerrero stole Ric Flair's golden watch, because this was for... We'll say that by later on in the night. Ric Flair comes down and causes disqualification. Regardless of this match, this was not one of Eddie Guerrero's best matches. But regardless, it's still a good match, but it could have been better, like I said. 5.5 out of 10, I'll give it. Also, Ric Flair is fighting Diamond Dallas Page on this show, which I believe this was before this match. Diamond Dallas Page came out. He cut a really good promo about, Ric Flair whipping Kimberly 14 times, which was not shown on that Nitro, which, by the way, I didn't watch any Nitros going into this pay-per-view. I just watched it through. And DP says, let's make it a strap match. Ugh. The words coming out of my mouth saying strap match is, well, regardless. Brad Archer defeats Berlin. This was a shit match. 0. Next. Next up is for the WCW Television Championship. Rick Steiner defeats Chris Benoit to win back the WCW World Television Championship. Because the night after Fall Brawl, Benoit beat Rick Steiner to win the Television Championship. Although he got a world title opportunity with Sting, which is a rare scene to see Benoit versus Sting. But regardless, this was a pretty good match. Then the ref bump happened, because Rick Steiner grabs referee Mark Slick Johnson, throws him, and Benoit just elbows him, which that was actually a perfect sequence of a ref bump I ever seen. And then Dean Malenko comes out, and that typical Vince Russo swerve Dean Malenko was going to hit Rick Steiner, but we all obviously know, like Kimberly turned on Diamond Dallas Page a few months later at Spring Stampede 2000, on another show I did. Another pay-per-view review I did on here. Remaster, that is. Dean Malenko hit Benoit with the chair, which... Hitting Benoit in the head with the... Okay, we're not going that far. So the Revolution are now fully healed, and Benoit is out of the group. But honestly, it's for the better, really, because Benoit, spoilers, at the next WCW pay-per-view was in the main event for the vacated WCW title, which WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which, how do we get there? Stay tuned. 6.5 out of 10. Could have been, again, it could have been better. I'm spinning all over my damn... Next is Lex Luger. I know he was referred to as the Total Package, but I'm still going to refer to him as Lex Luger. Because that's his nickname. Defeats Bret Hart by submission. Now, if you would have told me he beat him with the torture rack, you're wrong. Because Lex Luger beat Bret Hart by submission by a half Boston Crab. And not even a good one. Like, of all the submission holds, a half Boston Crab. Because Luger attacked Bret Hart's knee before this whole thing on Nitro. That was so stupid. Oh, by the way, Buff Bagwell came out. He cut a promo about, the Vince Russo and Efra coming in. And then, by the way, this was right after Jeff Jarrett came back to WCW because after No Mercy and the Good Housekeeping match. Probably I'll do that sometime next year. I know I want to do that, but I want to do Battle for Glory 2006 and not No Mercy 99, so my bad, but then Jarrett came out, and then Luger inadvertently hit Buff Bagwell with the guitar, and it didn't hit all the way, so Luger hits the turnbuckle pad with the guitar, which was hilarious. But that was like, I feel it was right after the Eddie Guerrero Perry Sarah match, which I almost forgot about that, but thank God for that. This was a bad match, by the way. 2 out of 10, and I've been generous with that. Okay, let's talk about this. For the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, the rematch from Fall Brawl the prior month. If you want to call this a match, really. Hogan versus Sting. Hogan's music plays first, and he doesn't come out. So Sting comes out first. They play Hogan's music again. He still doesn't come out. And finally, after 10 minutes of this, here comes Hogan in street clothes. He talks to Sting for a little bit, and he lays down. He lays down for Sting. 1, 2, 3. This was all the story where Russo wants to put Hogan away from the main event scene, which, to be fair, is kind of true, but this whole thing, Sting defeats Hulk Hogan to retain the WCW title, this was not a match, really. I can't rank this because this was just a segment. And right after this, they played the video package of the next match. For whatever reason. Which, speaking of, that's the next match for the WCW United States Championship. Now, during this whole thing, Goldberg versus Sid, which, I'll tell you right now, it was the best match on this show. But, Sid came back to WCW at the Great American Bash. Another show I will talk about someday. Probably in June. Maybe. And he begins his whole run as the Millennium Man. Where he has his own undefeated streak quotation marks, because Sid has been defeated in WCW before. But this whole streak thing was to do the match between he and Goldberg here at Halloween Havoc. And this gave us some funny moments where Goldberg destroys Sid's car and, oh my God! What happened to my car? Goldberg, where are you? He said, why me? Why me? Why me? R.I.P. to you, Sid. That was fucking hilarious. And during this show, after, I think it was the third match before Bagwell, the Bagwell Jarrett brawl, Goldberg beats up Sid, punching him, busting him open, and Sid says, get the fuck out of here, let it bleed, let it bleed. For the WCW United States Championship, Goldberg defeats Sid Vicious by referee stoppage to win the United States Championship, and Goldberg beat and Sid's undefeated streak, quotation marks. This was a fun battle. Two big boys doing big boy things. Before the match, freaking the Outsiders attacks Goldberg because Cash, yeah, by the way, he was supposed to be retired after Road Wild. Yeah, bullshit. Retirements don't mean shit in wrestling, like the negative one bill. I don't know why I said that. And this was the bloodiest fucking fight from these two. Well, Sid mostly was bleeding during the entire fight. And Goldberg beats Sid by referee stoppage. He wins the United States Championship for the second time, only to drop it the next night on Nitro to Bret Hart. More on that in a moment. But yeah, 8 out of 10. The best match on this show. And people saying this was a fucking train wreck. Well, it was better than it had a right to be. Thank goodness for that. Ugh. Anyways, then we get the strap match. The final official match on the card. Because right after this match, Sting comes out, he says, I didn't came to Vegas for a night off. I came to Vegas for a fight. And this technically turns Sting babyface. I mean, his only good heel run was the Main Event Mafia in 2008 to 2009, but technically, I don't think Sting was really much of a heel there, but let's be fair, Sting was way better as a babyface. We'll get to that after this. So yeah, the strap match, Diamond Dallas Page defeats Ric Flair. With these two involved, you think this should be a great match. It was better than the second time I see it. Again, I'm going in this with a second opinion on it. But this should have been better, but I fucking hate strap matches because they always change the fucking rules of it. Either touching all four corners or pinning them 1, 2, 3. I fucking hate this stipulated match. Was worth this or I quit match. But regardless, they fought all around the arena. Ric Flair, of course, had to bleed because every Ric Flair match has to have him being busted open. Here's the match finish. DDP hits Ric Flair with the Diamond Cutter, pins him. 1, 2. For some reason, Charles Robinson doesn't count 3 and decides to ring the bell. Like, when the hell with that and finish? Like, I only seen it like one other time where the referee does not count 3 but rings the bell anyways. Post-match, DDP attacks Ric Flair with the crowbar, and then the Filthy Animals attack Ric Flair because of the third match on the show, and the next night the Filthy Animals literally buried Ric Flair in the Nevada desert. This was a way to write Ric Flair off of TV, because this whole thing with Ric Flair and Hogan on this show, this was like to write both of them off so they could come back en masse in WCW. That was Russo's idea, but that whole thing went out the window, and this whole thing went to the New Blood Millionaires Club things, which, oh Jesus Christ. I think that was probably the reason why. But, yeah, and then the next night, Dave Flair attacks DDP and hits him with a crowbar so they roll him off so he can shoot the Ready to Rumble movie. DDP did. Guilty pleasure of a movie, by the way, but more on that when I talk about Starrcade again. I don't give it a 6 out of 10. I was thinking about this ring or a 5, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because it's Diamond Dallas Page and Ric Flair. But anyways, then we get the bonus main event. Sting comes out. He's waiting for his opponent. The announcer saying it could be Sid Vicious or... But let's think about this. Who had a match on this show? Buff Bagwell, Jeff Jarrett, so many others who had a match on the show, like Benoit. Instead it comes Goldberg, which, don't be fair, it's Goldberg. The announcer said this was for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which... Then someone told Tony Schiavone it's not a title match. Like, you advertise to fans saying it's for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, But then you say it's not for the title, which, what the fuck's going on here? So Goldberg defeats Sting for the WCW Championship, quotation marks, because this wasn't for the title, but it technically was. I mean, for 3 minutes for these two to have, it was a good main event. But Goldberg wins, he won clean, that's fine, but Charles Robinson gives Goldberg the WCW title anyways. And then after the match, Sting, Scorpion Death drops referee Charles Robinson, which this is a bad night for him, because he got diamond covered by DDP also in the last match. But then the night after, the WCW World Championship was vacated because Sting said he didn't say it was a title match, and JJ Dillon tell him, yes, it wasn't for the title, but he's been stripped of the title for hitting referee Charles Robinson with a Scorpion Death Drop. What the fuck was this? And then they did the tournament, and Bret Hart won the WCW title, not Goldberg and not Sting. Like, what the fuck was this? Oh yeah, Bret Hart's title run. More on this when I talk about Starrcade. The bonus main event, by the way, 6.5 out of 10. So, Halloween Havoc 1999. It was okay. I mean, 98 was better because that had Goldberg and DDP on there. And yes, it had Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, but the less I say about that, the better. At least the show had Goldberg and Sid Vicious. It was better than Fall Brawl, but it's on the same level as Road Wild. But it's better than Road Wild, but yeah. 5 point, I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. Yeah, a 5.5 out of 10. Next week, it's Survivor Series month. Staying in the year 1999, but for the World Wrestling Federation. It's the Survivor Series 1999 on there. And think, the main event. Triple H versus The Rock versus Stone Cold. Oh, wait a minute. That's a subject to change. Stay tuned next week. Tomorrow will be my SmackDown review. No Crown Jewel review. Because Saudi Arabia. So like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel here, and click the notification bell. As well as my main channel also. So you'll see more of that videos. Goodbye. And happy Halloween to everyone watching this. Also, goodbye.